Hey guys, I'm Izdaisho, and I am here for game 3. We are tied 1-1, me and my opponent. And we got a pretty sick hand going on here. Unfortunately, we're on the draw. And it's actually not as good as it immediately looked, but I think it'll be okay. It's got some top end in this Sphinx. Got a temporal mastery going on here, but more importantly, I've got Bear into Krovkin Mist. So, my opponent's got that Scoop Mob. He's drawn it every game so far, which is not ideal. He's also drawn at least one or two of his Izdaisho and both of his Tangles every game. Or no, one of his Tangles. Ooh, that's a spicy one. If I can get to 5 mana before he does anything too ridiculous, or just after he does something too ridiculous, then we might actually be able to get there. So, the way I've been playing this Scoop Mob so far has just been let it hit me at least once, I guess, and then we'll be okay, like, even if it hits me once. Alright, so he doesn't have a 2-mana ramp spell, which is really clutch for me, and that was an insane draw. Since outside of All Is Dust and Sword of Tangle, he has no way to deal with my flyers. So if I can kill him before he hits land drop 7, then we're going to be in great shape. So let's just do a quick calc. If I don't do anything and he doesn't do anything different, I can hit him for 3 in the air next turn, taking him down to 15. Then another 6, and then another 6, and then so it's a 4-turn clock still. Unless I can hit with my bear twice. Does he have nothing on turn 3 too? Ooh, that's really rough for him. And me drawing that land is pretty good, but I definitely want to copy the Krovkin Mist pre-combat. Again, I actually considered going with the Scoop Mob, but going with Krovkin Mist is just so much better because I get the guaranteed damage in, and I'm not even sure if I'm ever going to hit land drop 5. So if I do hit one more land, then we're probably just completely unbeatable. Unless he gets to All Is Dust. I mean, which he could get to pretty reasonably. There's that Oracle that has been so good for him this game, and he's got another, at least one land, which means that this thing is going to start getting bigger. He's got a Vigor out too, which means that blocking will no longer be an option after this turn. But it does mean that I'm going to get one more hit in with the Bear, which means that if I draw a counterspell, then this game is virtually over. Lord of the Unreal. Well, I'm going to cast it. No real reason not to. And we're hitting for 11 this turn, which is not the same as 13, because if it were 13, then he would have to block. So hopefully, let's see, he's got 4, 5. Okay, so he is gonna block, which is pretty good for me. That means, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean, but number 1, it tells me that he's got a land in hand. Number 2, it tells me that there's almost no chance that he has Tangle in hand. Actually, if he didn't have Tangle in hand, well, and it also probably means that he doesn't have all his Dust in hand. If he just casts a Vigor here, he's dead. If he leaves mana up, that's fine too. I can take the 5, that's not a big deal. But if he just attacks, I don't think he, I mean, yeah, I don't think he can just do this. Hopefully I draw a land so I can just mind control that, but yeah, let's see what's going on here. He probably has Tangle, okay. Phantasmal Image, which means that I can copy my Lord, which means that I can have lethal with only one of my flyers. It also means that I can't chump block next turn, which means that I'm going to a very low life. But we can deal. Let's see, is there anything else that he can have? I don't think that there are any other instants in that deck. Summoning Trap? You could have a Summoning Trap. Well, we'll play around Tangle here. It looks like he's got it. I probably should have actually attacked with both of the Krovkin Mist or something like that just to play around Summoning Trap a little better. But I mean, now he's got to have 2 tangles. So I think I will take this scoop. I mean, he's going to have the exact, like, oh, he could have land and all his dust. But if he had all his dust, I feel like he would have kept the Oracle around just to hope to ramp into it. I would be very surprised if he had all his dust here. But, alright, there's just a Primeval Titan, which means that the game's over. Phew, man, this is a huge sigh of relief. These games are way closer than I thought they would be. My opponent is definitely doing a really good job. He has a very nicely trimmed deck, and it's worked. I mean, I think he built it specifically to win this matchup. But regardless, we've got this game in the bag. I don't think that there's any spells in that deck that don't cost any mana. So we just need to make sure to attack on our turn, and then we should be okay. And there's a Force of Will. Sweet. Doesn't really matter since it doesn't do anything at this point, since we are basically dead to his board. Although not actually dead to his board. But we got that game, alright, and now we just have one more to go before we are crowned the grand champions of round 1 in Top 2 Tactics tournament. Round 1 of possibly like 7 or 8 or something like that. But alright, this is definitely working out like differently than I expected, since my opponent has a very oh, this is going to be mulligan. Let's hopefully get a good one. Yeah, mulligan. Alright. Reasonable hand. I mean, I've got Krovikin Mist, which is a sick draw against his deck because I have 4 Phantasmal Images in the pile. I have Force of Will, which is just a ridiculously powerful card, but not very good in his hand unless I draw another spell. And if I draw another spell, I'll probably want to cast the spell. So we don't see a Scoop Mob or an Exploration. I don't know if he's running Exploration in his deck. Alright, there's another land, which is exactly the opposite of what we want to see here. We might want to draw one more land throughout the entire game, but outside, I mean, it's unlikely that we'll want to see anything else. I'll be pretty happy to get a Temporal Mastery just to ramp and fish through my cards a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe, I mean, it would be okay, but I guess I don't really have anything to ramp to at this point. Alright, so he's got nothing here, which is really good for me. No turn 2 ramp. Probably means he kept an Oracle hand or like a Farhaven Elf. I haven't seen any Farhaven Elf yet. I'm going to cast that Divination this turn, but there's really no point in doing it before. It doesn't matter if I do it before or after attacks. Just completely irrelevant either way. So I'm just going to cast this Divination, and we got a Lord of the Unreal. So, I mean, it's not like I could have casted the Lord of the Unreal to get some extra damage through. So he's about to hit land drop 3, which means that if I don't see a Farhaven Elf, I will be very surprised. I don't know if he's even running the card. Alright, so he's got nothing. No Grazing Gladeheart. Which means that he's definitely got a Oracle next turn. Sweet. Royal Elemental is perfect because I can just pitch that card to Force of Will. Which is not really what you want to hear, but if he taps out next turn, he's actually just dead. Since he is at 8, I have 8 power on the board, and I've got a Force of Will in hand. So, unfortunately for him, looks like I'm going to be able to take this one. I just needed any blue spell to draw there. Or a counter spell, that would have worked too. Actually, that is a blue spell. So hopefully he just taps out here. Come on, tap out. Boom. Get there. Yeah. I'm making sure. I definitely have 8 power, right? And he's at 8. Okay, 6, 8. Alright, so we got there. Round 1. Pretty much got an unbeatable draw. He didn't have a very aggressive one, but just shows you the power of Force of Will. Then again, I mean, Counterspell would have been just as good there, so unfortunate for my opponent, but he got matched up in this way. I mean, that's the kind of risk that you take when you play Chant in this tournament. I think my opponent played really well, and I definitely congratulate him on taking a game off me. I really didn't think he would. I played a whole bunch of practice games, and we got 8 power on the board. Played a whole bunch of practice games, and I didn't lose any of them, and then he just went ahead and took one. And, thanks. But, yeah, so very good games, sir. I hope that all of you viewers enjoyed the video, and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.